Happy Thanksgiving. I'm sitting here prepping a mess of greens. A nice little surprise for my coworker. Her auntie has this awesome friggin' garden and they were fresh picked, and she gave me a whole bunch of, oh, I'm wiggling y'all. She gave me a whole bunch of mustard and collards. I'm doing the collards because I prefer the collards. But I don't have any friggin' turkey legs. I wasn't ready or expecting to make greens this year. So I didn't have my turkey legs. I don't even have like a ham bone or anything like that. The only thing I have in here is some bacon. And I've made them with bacon before, but they're too greasy. They taste good as all heck, but they're too greasy. So I don't want to be that person that's at the grocery store last minute trying to find something like that. So I may just do the bacon. I'm not sure. But yeah, I was prepping. I don't do any real cooking on Thanksgiving. My sister does all of the major cooking. But she does always request my squash casserole, which I'm about to do. And I thought maybe y'all want to watch me do it. I don't know if I've done it for you guys before or with you guys before. It's so basic, guys. So stinking basic. But she has requested it as she does every year. So I'm going to make that. And then, like I said, this little surprise batch of greens, I'm cleaning them now. I have to do maybe 2 more rinses because you don't play around with greens. And I have everything else except my turkey legs, which I'm so sad about, like I said. But I may do bacon. Otherwise, it's just going to be a green. A nice green, but it's just going to be a green. You need that smoky. You need that something, you know. But do y'all want to see my squash casserole in the makings? Okay, if y'all do. Okay, guys, so for those of you who are interested in what's going on with the greens, like I said, I wasn't prepared to make greens, so I don't have a lot of the stuff that I usually use. But we're going to make do because I'm not going to let them go to waste. And I am going to go ahead and use the bacon. I'm going to fry that up with some onion right here and garlic right here. I might use more garlic. And then I'm going to wilt the greens in that before I pour in the stock, which is the bouillon variety. Just because, like I said, I wasn't prepared or I would have made my own. But it's very, very basic. It's just collards with bacon. And I'm already tasting them. I'm already craving them. I don't use the chili flakes because I don't like chili flakes. So I use this, I never learned how to pronounce this dude's last name, but I use this Tony Creole seasoning for a little bit of kick. And then pepper because I like it spicy. And then after they're prepared, of course, you got to put some Tabasco. I don't have my vinegar out here. It's on the other side. But I do add a little sploosh of vinegar. There it is for those of you that are visual. There's a little vinegar. Depending on what it tastes like after I've cooked them for a little while, I might add sugar. I rarely add sugar because I like the spice of it all, and I don't mind a slightly bitter green. But if y'all don't like a bitter green, then y'all can put sugar in it. Now, let me say this. Please don't nobody come for me, okay? Like I said, this is an impromptu green. Don't nobody come for me. My grandmas, my nanas, my aunties, my doñas. Please don't come after me talking about that is the saddest pot of greens ever in life. I make greens. I love greens. But we're going to do what we got to do to get these greens on the table at the last minute. Now, for the squash, I use 3 yellow squash, some Italian zucchini, and carrots with onion. I boil those, cook them down in some stock. And once again, I'm using the Nor Boil just because I didn't make time or have time to do my own stock, but that is awesome. 1 teaspoon to 1 cup of water, mix however many cups you need. I use 5 to 6 because I like to freeze the rest of it or use it later in other recipes. And honestly, if I have any more stock left from the squash, I may drop it into the greens just to give it a little extra oomph of flavor. And so you get that pot liquor at the bottom. Ooh, you can dip your cornbread in. But anywho, so it's my squashes, my carrots, my onion. I cook that down in the broth. And then I take it out and I toss it with cream of mushroom and cream of chicken. Toss that up, put it in a casserole dish. Then I top it off with cheese. And then I make a crumble out of the butter. This is a variety pack, but I'm going to use the Buttercrisp cookies and margarine. And I make a crumble that I sprinkle on top. Then we put it in the oven for at 350 for like 30 minutes just to get it all bubbly and the top gets all crispy and delicious. But that is the squash casserole my sister requests all the time. I do season it with, oh, I didn't put my seasonings out here. I season it with salt and pepper and just a little bit of that Goya goodness. I don't use a whole lot of it because you know, you want to be able to taste your squash and stuff. And then the broth is like really, really salty, but that gives it a little kick. You don't have to use it if you don't want to. You can do straight salt and pepper and it comes out just so nice. It's just a nice tummy filling dish. Okay, so I have everything nice and scrubby-dubbied. And it is super duper simple, guys. With these big honking ones, I cut them in half as best as I can when they're shaped funny. Okay. I leave the seeds in because that's the goodiness, and then I slice. I slice in little moons. You can leave them in circles if you want, depending on how big casserole dish you have, depending on how you want to present it. Sorry about the clickety-clackety. I am cutting on a glass cutting board. A thrifted one, you guys. I don't like that. You see that? I don't like that. I don't like that. So that's going away. But yeah, I'm going to chop these up in little half moons. And then I'm going to do the zucchinis in little circles. Now these carrots, I usually use the bigger carrots or regular carrots. I wash them and then peel them and then do all that and cut them in circles. But I found in the last few years, these work really well. I just chop them in little bites. And they cook up just as lovely. So let me do the prep. Okay, so now all we're going to do is drop in our veggies into the steaming broth. There we go. And yes, the broth is not going to cover it entirely, but that's okay because y'all know it's going to shrink down. So there's that. Here are my onions and carrots and zucchini. I'm making a mess. These are good leftovers too, because after like the next day, you taste all the yumminess even more. Ah, they're going everywhere. Okay, so there are all the vegetables. I lost something over here. Okay, so I'm gonna let these boil and cook down until they're the consistency, not the consistency, the texture I like. I don't want them all mushed down because what's the point? I like to have a little bit of a bite, but heck, I don't want to bite into no raw squish or carrot. So it's just about right. Now the only other thing I do at this point is add my little Goya, but you can add whatever you like, guys. Whatever seasoning you like. There are so many out there. You can add whatever the heck you like. And like I said, I don't do much, but this just gives it a brightness, a yummy brightness. So they're gonna boil. Let me turn this up a little higher. I gotta get my greens started because I like to cook those for Maybe 45 minutes, not too long because I don't like my greens mushy either. I like them to still have some kind of form when you get them on your fork. So we're gonna let those go. And now we're gonna start on the greens. So for the greens, I just chopped up 8 slices of bacon, well, 8 half slices of bacon. I have my garlic that I'm gonna press into after I cook my onions and bacon a little bit. And then I have the broth here pretty much ready to drop into my big old stock pot. And the only reason I'm using something this big is because you know how big greens are when you first put them in. They're going to shrink down to nothing down there. But that's what I start with. So let's get this bacon a-frying. Okay, so I've had a little bit of oil heating up at the bottom down yonder. I'm going to drop in the bacon and stir that up some just to get it crumbly and delicious. You don't want it cooked all the way through because I like to see the little bacony chunk in there. So I'm just going to let them sit in there for just a little bit and cook up. And I'm just going to stir it as I go. Oops. To make sure I get it cooked just enough that I can drop my onions in and it cooks a little bit more without getting all crispy and weird. But ooh, the smell, the deliciousness of bacon. Ooh, love it. Okay, so now that the bacon's getting a little color on it, some of the fat is getting cooked down, I'm going to go ahead and add the onion in. And cook that down a little bit before I crush in my garlic because I don't want my garlic to burn because that would be gross. Ooh. Such a nice combo. Love that smell. I'm getting a little nervous that my big old pile of greens might be too big, but no, I don't know why I do that to myself every time I make greens. I know they shrink down to nothing, but there's the loveliness going on in there. So I'll be back to crushing some garlic. Okay, it's getting there, it's getting there. So now I'm going to squoze in my garlic. I almost forgot about my garlic, guys, and I love my garlic in my greens. Oh, I am not strong enough to crush my garlic. That's sad. Me and this butterfly arm, guys. Cold weather don't help a butterfly arm by any means. But yeah, I put in my garlic right before I drop in my vinegar because I don't want my stuff to burn. I don't want my garlic to burn because greens, you're already playing with fire in regards to bitterness. And then if you like vinegar in your greens, you're already playing with bitterness a little bit more. So I just gotta be careful. I like vinegar in my greens. Some folks don't. Some folks only do the sugar. Like I said, I don't know if I told you guys in the beginning of the video, I don't mess around with sugar until the end when I start tasting the little soup, the little liqueur, to see if it's too vinegary, and then I may add a pinch of sugar. But usually I get away with adding just a teaspoon of sugar. Not of sugar, a teaspoon of vinegar, and I've been good as long as I've been making greens. So now, speaking of the stinky little devil. Hey. No, silly, not you, vinegar. I drop in, oops, maybe not that much because I done spilled some. Drop in some vinegar and I cook it down a little, and the reason I cook it down is because I don't want it all bold and in my face. Now don't breathe in vinegar when you're cooking it because I swear you're going to asphyxiate. It's like cooking chiles. You will have breathing issues. But I just let that, see, it went up my nose. I just let that cook down a little bit so it's not too potent. And then I'm going to drop in my broth and drop in my greens. And we're going to let them cook for, I usually go 45 minutes. Depending on how many greens I have, depending on what kind of mood I'm in. Do I want a soft, squishy green? Or do I want a nice bitey green? Just depends. Okay. So now I'm going to drop in my broth. Okay. Sprinkle in my Tonys. And that's just to your liking. It depends on how spicy you like it. If you don't like it spicy, then don't do it. But I just do that much because I still put Tabasco on it. Maybe half a teaspoon, maybe. And now comes the fun part. The dropping in my big old pile of greens and letting them go. So here we go with that. I had to separate them in a whole bunch of friggin' platters. I think the worst part of greens is the cleaning them. It takes forever to make sure you ain't got no sand and grit and, you know, gross little leaves in there. But yesterday was fun cleaning these. My big dude and little dude joined me at the table. And big dude joined in on the cleaning of it all while we sat and listened to old Hank Williams and George Jones. And then we switched over to Blind Melon and listened to some good old blues. So it was a nice time. My big dude is at work today. He gets off at 6 o'clock, so we're holding off dinner until he's able to join us at my sister's house. So we're all going to be together. I hope you guys are able to be with your families and loved ones. I hope everyone is doing okay this year. I know we've all gone through some things, some bigger losses than others, but we're still here, guys. You know, we're still here. So we gotta pause and give thanks. So there's my greens. I'm gonna let the bottom ones get a little squishy, and then I'm gonna stir them up, and I'm gonna let them go for 45 minutes. Okay, guys, y'all want to take a little break with me while I wash dishes? If y'all have been on a few of my cooking videos, y'all know I like to wash dishes as I go because I hate a filthy kitchen afterwards. And it's already filthy. This kitchen is a big mess right now. A lot going on. But it's getting a little late, not too late, but a little late, and I still have to get stuff ready for tomorrow. I go back to work tomorrow, guys. Oh, sorry about how dark it is. I go back to work tomorrow. For the first time in 10 years, I've had to go back to work after Thanksgiving, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is, and I like my job, and it'll be a year in February, and I like my job, and I've really gotten chummy with my co-workers. Even after a year, we're still getting to know each other, but what we've gotten to know about each other is good. You know, we get along. We have days where we are just cracking up, days where it's just really quiet. But I like them. As ladies, they seem like really incredible ladies, really incredible moms. So I'm grateful that I'm able to work with wonderful ladies like that. There are times, though, because they are so cool, that I get to missing my old coworkers. You know, we'll be talking about something and it'll flash me back to my old coworkers, and you know, it's bittersweet, but thankfully I can still communicate with my old coworkers and we still have a relationship, so it's not all bad. But I gotta get my casserole ready for my squoosh. So let me put that over here. But yeah, it's a good job. I like it. What else can we talk about? Oh, my update, you guys, my health update. Okay, so I don't know if I told y'all I had an 11.6 A1C when I went to my doctor 6 months ago, and they threatened to make me have to start taking injectables in my belly. And I'm like, please no, let me get my crap together, get my diet right and everything so I don't have to do those. And my doc was like, okay, we're going to give you 3 months. Well, y'all remember me talking about I was jotting down everything I ate, keeping a food journal, logging calories and sodium and sugar and carbs. And it eventually triggered some not so good thoughts of past behaviors. I think I told you guys that. Well, I debated whether I should tell my doctor or not. Oh, hold on, I'm getting ahead of myself. after that trigger, I stopped logging everything, and I still lost a little bit of weight, but my numbers were really high. You guys have heard me complain about that. I couldn't understand why my numbers were so high when I was doing everything right and I was still losing weight. But thankfully, I was honest with my doctor and told her how discouraged I had been with the high numbers, high fasting sugars, and how I had been triggered. I debated telling her because I was embarrassed. I'm 49 years old. I was just embarrassed. And she was grateful that I told her and said, my whole point of being your doctor is to make you healthy, keep you healthy, and not to get good on one end and then you end up messed up on another. She is such an amazing doctor. And she's my new doctor because my PCP that I've had for 20-some years retired. But she's amazing, just as amazing as mine. But anywho, my A1C went from 11.6 to 7.9. I lost 21 pounds, and the shots in the stomach are no longer an option. She is switching my meds because she feels that the meds I'm on right now are giving me that fog, that memory fog I keep talking to you guys about. She feels that one of my meds may be the cause of that, so she's going to switch me to another one. I have 3 more months until I go back and I'm monitored on how well that med is doing. But yeah, update, I did it. It hasn't been too hard. Now that I understand, she said, Melissa, what you're not understanding, what I need you to be clear on, and I'm sharing this for other diabetics out there who might be in the same boat. When I went in with an 11.6 A1C, my daily sugars easily were 300 or over. The only reason I didn't know that was because I didn't check my sugar daily, because with my insurance, I couldn't afford the strips. That's the game of insurance. So I wasn't checking my sugar daily. I had no idea my numbers were 315, 320 on the daily, guys. So when I was seeing numbers of 130, 140, I was totally discouraged, thinking those numbers were horrible. I should be like at 100, 110. She said, absolutely not. The fact that you went from over 300 to low hundreds, she said, is amazing. So you're doing really well. And she was sad that I hadn't reached out to her sooner. She would have been able to explain that to me and I wouldn't have been so discouraged. So I'm just telling you guys, diabetes, my diabetics out there, is a wonky disease. But just know, if you are making changes in your lifestyle, if you are making changes in your diet and with your exercise, and your numbers are within that 100 range, even up to 200, I was told, if your diabetes was out of control and you've made great changes and you've lost weight, do not, please do not be discouraged with your numbers. Just keep open and honest with your doc so that he or she can give you that information, so you're not sitting there feeling like I'm not doing enough. But anywho, let's go back to this food and see what's going on, because I'm hot. I'm a hoot. I got pots boiling everywhere. Okay, it's smelling greenery in here. Yep, and they've shrunk down, so now the broth is almost covering them. And the only other thing I don't like about greens as well, just like broccoli and cabbage, all things I love, is the way they make your whole house stink and smell. Jeez. But anyway, I'm going to give these a toss up in here. Now at this point, they're all nice and wet. All nice and wet. I'm going to put in some pepper. If I can open it. Oh, goodness gracious. Sprinkle some pepper in there. One more stir. I got my heat on medium high. Just trying to make sure it's all incorporated in there. And let it go. I left them kind of big because, like I said, when they cook down, I like to see the little veins in the greens. I don't just like to have a mush ball. Okay, so these have been going for quite some time. The seeds have pulled away from the yellow squoosh. I'm just checking for fork tenderness on the carrots and the zucchini, and sure enough, everything is soft and squishy. I'm hoping these carrots, all of them are, yes, that's a nice one. Okay, so now what we're going to do is take all the veggies out. Well, we're going to drain the veggies. We're going to mix the cream of mushroom and cream of chicken as is right into the hot veggies. Well, you'll see. So here are the drained veggies, and I'm going to drop them right back into the pot they were cooking in. And now we get our soup. I don't use any milk or anything in it because the veggies still, when you bake them, release some liquid, so you'll get some nice little sauce or gravy. Cream of chicken. Now this one I don't scrape out only because cream of chicken is kind of salty. So I get out as much as I can, but I don't scrape it all out. The mushroom is more mild. And we stir it. We stir all the goodness together. Yes, your squishies might break apart, but it's okay. They're not all going to break apart. So we stir them all together. Once you get it all incorporated, you taste one of your veggies. And if you think it needs a little more of the sazon, sprinkle it in there. You're still going to bake this. If you need a little more pepper, oh, because I did add pepper while it was cooking. You do that. If you think it needs a little heat, you add heat, whatever and however you want to. However and whatever you want in your squashing, you do it your way. Now let me taste. I'm about to burn my pico. I think it's lovely. Okay. I think it's lovely as is. So now we are going to put it in our casserole dish. So now we dump it into our casserole dish. And I hope I don't make a mess because I'm behind it. Oh, it smells so good, you know. Smells so yummy. Okay. Then we top it off with some cheese, any cheese you want. I always just use the Colby Jack because I like the little tang to it. Cover it with Colby. And then the last thing we're going to do, and I'm not going to bake it here because I'm taking it to my sister and we're going to finish it up there. But the last thing we do is add our crumb topping, which I'll show you how to do right now. So I've added a couple tablespoons of margarine. You can use butter if you want. It's just with real butter, you got to be careful about burning. If you're going to set broiler on top of it to make it uber crispy, you got to be careful it don't burn. So I just crushed the crackers. Just crush away. You can use a rolling pin, and that's usually what I do, but my rolling pin is behind you guys, and if I move, I think I'm going to knock y'all over. Y'all should see how precariously y'all are perched. But dump your crumbs in your margarine or your butter. And just mush away. You can also melt the butter to make it easier if you want. It's just, again, the microwave is behind you guys. Oops, I'm making a mess. And I didn't want to knock y'all over. But yeah, you just make a little crumbly mixture. I may definitely need more crackers because this is way too much butter. So let me go ahead and make a few more cracker crumbs to put in here, and then we'll top it. Okay, so now all we do is take our little crumble mixture and throw it on top. Now, once that's all done, I'm going to cover it up in foil to get it ready to transport over to my sissy's house. Now the butter will melt, spreading out your crumbs, and you'll get an even more layer of bread topping, a crumb topping, than you would if you melted the butter to begin with. So yeah, so if you're like, it's all spotty, Mel, no, it'll spread. And there is your crumb topping. So yeah, so once you're ready to bake, it's, I keep saying it, 350 degrees for 20 to 30 minutes, depending on your oven, and then you're ready to go, and it's delicious. Now let me check on these greens because they're stinking up the house, and I think I'm going to use some of the veggie stock for them as well. So let's check the greens, and yep, They're not smelling cooked yet. They're still smelling raw to me. If you make greens, you know the difference. I don't think they've been in there long enough. But they're definitely starting to get a hint of cooked. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to taste a little pot liquor. Okay. That definitely, at this point right now, would need some sugar if I were to leave them like that. But I'm going to let them cook a little more because I'm starting to get the bacon feel. So what I'm going to do is you'll see all this good veggie stock from my squash. I think I'm going to add a bit. It ain't going to hurt. Squash is sweet. So it may balance out that bitter. And it's still warm, so it's not going to mess with the cooking of it all. And if the longer you leave this cooking, the better the broth gets. And then, you, like I said, ooh, when you dunk in your cornbread in that. Do y'all like doing that? Y'all like dunking y'all's cornbread in the green juice, in the green liquor? So good. But I think I'm going to add even a little bit more because I do want that extra. I do want that extra to pour over that. Okay, so I'm going to let those simmer away, and then I'm going to go finish getting everything ready to take with me. I'm going to spend the night at my sister's because she lives 5 minutes away from my job. And we're just going to have a happy old night of it. So, I'll see you guys in a bit. Okay, I am back. Little dude and I are heading towards my sissy's house. It is rainy and dreary. Thankfully, it's not cold. So we don't expect any ice, but it is kind of funky. But yes, the greens came out really, really good. Even impromptu quick, not as I usually make them. They're pretty dang good. I'm going to wait and add just the tiniest pinch of sugar to them. Once I get to my sister's house, I'm going to let her taste them and see if she likes them. They're not nasty bitter, but they taste like greens, and some prefer sweet. I can't remember if my sister likes hers not as tangy. But we're about to get here on this freeway, and I just wanted to come on and tell y'all again, I hope you all have a magnificent Thanksgiving. I hope you all are able to share it with those that you love. Ooh, it's flash flooding up around here. And for any of those watching that may be hurting or lonely or out of sorts on this holiday, because I know it can happen, know that you are loved. And I hope that memories of those you may be missing make you smile instead of sad. Hold on to hope. Pray for strength or resilience. Know that I am praying for you too. I really do, and I'll do it right now. I pray for those of you who are watching me now who are down in spirit, who are afflicted, who are hurting, who are mourning, who are hurt, who are sick. Find their hearts open to the Lord's grace to be able to lift you out of that spirit today and tomorrow and tomorrow. I am thankful for you guys. I'm thankful for the fun that I have here on YouTube. I'm thankful for those of you that I have met on here. So I cannot not pray and care about you guys. So I'm going to get off of the video and cruise in the little drench we're got going on. We're like little wet cats and dogs already trying to get stuff in the car. But I hope you all have a magnificent rest of your week, and I will see you guys again very, very soon. So until my next go around, I love y'all much. Bye.